security and political situation. You foresee and political situation, you foresee any breakthrough in bringing both camps together in order to create consensus on political situation, political transition. And another question is there is a widespread fear that the government might not be able to hold elections on time due to COVID-19. If elections don't happen on time, there is a possibility civil unrest might ensue. What assurance can you give that election will be happen on time?
So those are great questions. So let me go to the political part on the federal member states. As you know, the United States position, and we've been very, very clear, even recently in our tweets and our statements, is you need to have a dialogue between the federal member states and the government. The reason why is because under the debt relief issue that Somalia has gained, is that it calls for a coordinated effort between the member states and the federal government in order to look at how you're going to invest money, how you're going to pay off debts, and how you're going to work these. So it has to be very coordinated on programs. The other thing is the United States has we have a tremendous amount of investments in each of the member states. Like, for instance, we've done hydroelectric power plants and solar energy, and we're looking at fishery industries, and we're creating more jobs in Somaliland, Puntland, Jubaland. We're going to Hershey Valley, Southwest, and Galmudug. And so in order to continue that, we need to have everyone coordinated. The second issue, too, is that the COVID-19 is really forcing the member states and the government to coordinate, because the COVID-19, in order to effectively counter COVID-19, calls for coordination. So you're absolutely correct that probably circumstances will force the member states and the government to coordinate. As you know, President Formaggio has already announced a working level coordination of all the FMS and FGS. That's a good start. At some point, there needs to be a leadership meeting so that we can get some really good decisions about how to expend money, how to do budgetary assistance, what are the priorities. So that's on the FMS. So I'm confident that there will be better coordination. There has to be, because of this COVID-19. The second issue that you talked about, what was it on the COVID-19 problem? On the elections. So the elections, holding the elections on time is critical. We've said that we need to do it on time. But there are also important issues within the election. So as you know, the Somali people and the electorate said that we need to have as many as 30% of the parliamentarians must be women. That's number one. Number two is that you have to have institutions in place which will develop the electorate. So you go from a clan-based or a parliamentary selection towards a more popular vote. That means one person, one vote. So how are those two going to be realized in this next election? So holding the election on time is important, but these other two issues are just as critical. And so they all have to be resolved, and they all have to be addressed. And this is something we discussed with President Formaggio, the Prime Minister, the Halima, and the National Electoral Commission, and your parliamentarians, is how to do these things. So just holding the election on time, you got to do it. It's important. But then you got to also address the women and also the nature and the structure of the elections. So I'm confident that we can make forward progress, but we got to do it. We have to act very quickly. And so the election is slated for later this year or early 2021. But whenever it happens, we all got to be on this together, and we look to the press for your assessment and your analysis. I mean, you guys are going to be very, very important in helping us determine where the people stand, what do they want. If you can't have something right now, is it good enough? But whatever happens is we got to have progression. So I was here during the 2016 elections, and we made a very concerted effort. We had 24% women. We had progress towards one person, one vote. We want to build on that for this 2020 election. And again, 2024 and 2028.